Sarah earns $100,000 a year. Mark earns $65,000. You'd probably assume Sarah is doing much better financially. But Sarah has just $200 in savings. Mark has $12,000. That's 60 times more savings, despite earning $35,000 less per year. So how is that possible? And more importantly, how can someone earn $100,000 a year and still feel like there's never any money left? The answer has less to do with the size of the paycheck than you might think. A high income doesn't automatically create wealth. A bigger salary can absolutely make life easier. But income and wealth aren't the same thing. Income is money coming in. What matters financially is also what happens after that money arrives. How much gets spent, how much goes toward debt, how much gets saved, and how much gets invested for the future. Someone can earn a large salary and spend nearly all of it. Someone else can earn considerably less and consistently keep part of what they earn. Over time, those two people can end up in completely different financial positions. And one reason this happens is something called lifestyle inflation, or lifestyle creep. What is lifestyle inflation? Lifestyle inflation doesn't necessarily mean someone is irresponsible. It can happen very gradually. You get a raise, so you upgrade the car, then maybe you move somewhere a little nicer. You start ordering takeaway more often. Your subscriptions increase. Your holidays become more expensive. You buy things without thinking about them as much because I can afford it now. Individually, none of those decisions has to be a problem. But together, something interesting can happen. Your income rises, and your lifestyle rises with it. Eventually, the extra money you thought you'd have disappears. You earn more, but somehow, you don't keep more. Let's go back to Sarah. Remember, Sarah earns $100,000 a year. This is an example, so we're not going to assume a particular country's taxes or exact take-home pay. We're simply looking at what Sarah does with the money available to her. As Sarah's income increased over the years, so did her lifestyle. She moved into a more expensive home. She upgraded her car. She started eating out more frequently. A few new subscriptions appeared. Her shopping budget increased. Her holidays became a little more expensive. None of these changes seemed enormous. That's what makes lifestyle inflation difficult to notice. Sarah doesn't have one giant expense destroying her finances. She has lots of smaller upgrades that gradually became normal. And there's one more important detail. Sarah saves whatever is left at the end of the month. The problem? There usually isn't much left. Now look at Mark. Mark earns $65,000. He doesn't necessarily live an extremely frugal life. He spends money on things he enjoys too. But he does one thing differently. When Mark gets paid, part of his money automatically moves into savings. It happens before he starts deciding what to spend that paycheck on. So instead of income to spending to save. What's left Mark's system looks more like income to save, first to spend what's left. That small change matters. Mark doesn't have to make the decision to save over and over again. The system makes the decision for him. And over time, those transfers accumulate. $500 becomes $1,000. $1,000 becomes $3,000. Then $5,000. Eventually, Mark reaches $12,000. Meanwhile, Sarah keeps waiting for a month when there will finally be plenty of money left over. That month keeps getting pushed into the future. So why doesn't earning more fix it? This is where things get interesting. Imagine your income increases by $500 a month. At first, $500 feels significant. But then you make a few upgrades. Maybe another $100 goes toward your car, $100 toward eating out, $80 toward subscriptions, entertainment, or shopping. Maybe housing or another recurring expense increases too. Before long, most of that extra $500 has been absorbed into everyday life. And because many of those expenses repeat every month, the higher spending becomes your new normal. That's lifestyle creep. The problem isn't enjoying some of your raise. The problem is allowing every raise to become a permanent increase in spending. The real problem with lifestyle creep There's another reason this matters. It's much easier to upgrade your lifestyle than downgrade it. Imagine you get used to the nicer car, the larger home, the frequent restaurants, the subscriptions, the expensive holidays. Eventually, they stop feeling like luxuries. They just feel normal. So even though you're earning considerably more than you did 5 years ago, you may not feel wealthier. Your income increased. But so did the amount of money required to maintain your life. And that's how someone can receive raise after raise, while their savings barely move. 3 things to remember. So there are 3 important lessons here. Number 1, a high income is not the same as a high net worth. Your salary tells us how much you earn. It doesn't tell us how much you keep. Number 2, lifestyle inflation isn't always obvious. It's often dozens of small upgrades that slowly become normal. Number 3, saving what's left can be difficult. Because when spending has first access to your income, there may never be much left. That's why creating a system can be more effective than repeatedly relying on motivation. A simple way to fight lifestyle inflation. Here's something you can try the next time your income increases. Decide what happens to the extra money before you receive it. Imagine your take-home income increases by $500 a month. You don't necessarily have to save the entire $500. Maybe you decide $250 goes towards savings, investing, or paying down debt, and the other $250 can improve your lifestyle. Now something different happens. You're enjoying some of your higher income, while also improving your financial position. Your lifestyle gets better, but your future gets better too. Automation changes the order. You can take this one step further. Instead of manually transferring money whenever you remember, you can automate it. Schedule a transfer around payday. The money arrives. A portion automatically goes toward your financial goal. And then you live on what's available afterward. This doesn't guarantee financial success. And the right amount will be different for everyone. Someone dealing with high-interest debt may have different priorities from someone building an emergency fund or investing for retirement. But the principle is simple. Give your financial goals a place in your paycheck before optional spending absorbs everything. And if you're not sure where to start, that's exactly why I created ClearEveryday. You can use the free calculators at ClearEveryday.com to explore things like savings goals, debt repayment, budgeting, loans, mortgages, and other everyday money decisions. You don't need to understand complicated financial formulas. Enter your numbers, change the assumptions, and see how different decisions could affect the result. Because sometimes seeing the numbers makes the decision much clearer. This isn't about never enjoying your money. And I want to make something very clear. This video isn't saying, earn more and never spend more. What's the point of improving your financial situation if you're never allowed to enjoy any of it? A nicer home might genuinely improve your life. A reliable car may be worth paying for. Travel may be incredibly important to you. And sometimes spending more is completely intentional. The issue isn't lifestyle improvement. It's unconscious lifestyle inflation. There's a big difference between saying, I've decided this is worth spending more on, and I don't actually know where my raise went. One is intentional, the other happened automatically. Sarah doesn't need Mark's salary. And here's perhaps the most important part of Sarah and Mark's story. Sarah doesn't need to become Mark. She doesn't need to sell everything. She doesn't need to stop eating out. And she doesn't need to pretend she's broke. In fact, Sarah has something incredibly valuable. A strong income. Her income isn't the problem. The problem is that she hasn't built a system for keeping part of it. If Sarah starts directing even a portion of her income toward her financial goals automatically, her situation could begin changing surprisingly quickly. The bigger lesson. That's why asking, how much do you earn, only tells us part of someone's financial story. A better question might be, what is your income allowing you to build? An emergency fund, less debt, investments, a home deposit, more financial flexibility, or is almost everything coming in, going straight back out again? Because earning more gives you more possibilities. but it doesn't automatically decide what you do with them. So imagine you received a raise tomorrow. An extra $500 appeared in your take-home pay every month. What would happen to it? Would some automatically go toward your future? Or 6 months from now? Would your life simply cost $500 more? That's the question worth asking. Because building wealth isn't only about earning more. It's also about what you manage to keep and what you do with it. If you enjoy simple, practical money explanations without the hype, subscribe to Clear Everyday and let me know in the comments. If you received a $500 a month raise tomorrow, how much would you save?